The media is right now just really upset, as you know, right? They're really, really upset about this null and void stuff. We heard from Tapper, all that good, and you're going to hear more of this. But the media is also really upset about this one, the Aliens Enemy Act of 1798. So Donald Trump is like, he's going wild. He's like, okay, I get this, I get this, I get this, I get this, I get this. That's what happens when you have 4 years to think about this stuff, right? And you get a talented group of lawyers that are thinking about how we can approach things in a new and different way. And he's got his friend down in El Salvador who's trying to make a whole business out of his prison system. He's so proud of it. He's talking on Twitter today, putting up all kinds of videos saying, hey, we're going to make some real money off of this. It means that our prison system is going to be actually a moneymaker for us in El Salvador. It may not be a big deal amount of money to the U.S., but it's a big deal amount of money to El Salvador. Well, Donald Trump was asked about this use of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport people that are enemies of the state, effectively. And he's like, listen, you're a gang member. We know you're a gang member. You're an enemy of the state. You're out. And this is what he's using. So he was asked about it today, yesterday there on the plane. Let's take a listen.
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
Wow. So he's saying they have effectively declared war on us with this invasion. We're going to use this Aliens Enemy Act of 1798. And guess what? We're going to do it, and we're going to ask questions later. Right? So he's just sweeping these people out of the country. And that's exactly what he did overnight. He got them all on a plane. And now a judge is coming forward saying you can't do this. This U.S. District Judge James Borsberg, he's temporarily blocking the deportations because he wants to consider the implications of using the act. And he said in court that any planes already in the air carrying migrants need to be returned to the U.S. But it's kind of hard because, well, they already landed in El Salvador. So you get the president of El Salvador saying, oh, sorry, too late. And it's effectively what the administration is saying, too. I mean, how do you get them back now at this point? They weren't in the country legally. They were known criminals in this country. And I just got to say, like, it's sort of like you're putting the Democrats really in a bad spot, because if you're a Democrat now having to defend a gang member and say, I really want to keep these gang members here in the U.S. that have committed these horrible, horrible crimes, you're really going to lose the popular vote, so to speak, now, are you not? So the White House has responded to this judge saying, well, you know what? The administration did not refuse to comply with a court order. The order, which had no lawful basis, was issued after a terrorist, the group Tren de Aragua, which is from Venezuela, aliens had already been removed from U.S. territory. This is according to Caroline Leavitt in her statement today. She said, and I quote, "A single judge in a single city cannot direct the movements of an aircraft carrier full of foreign alien terrorists who were physically expelled from U.S. soil." So in the case of these particular individuals, they're gone. They're already in El Salvador. And our border czar, Tom Homan, says, you know what? He doesn't care about this judge. He doesn't care about the judge issuing this ruling saying we need to wait. He's just there to clean up the border. Take a listen to him this morning on Fox.
Another flight every day. The teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to the American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Yeah. I just love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple as their liberal tears just flood the hallway. Tom Homan, thanks so much for joining the program.
You remember that the other day when he went up to New York State? I showed you that on Thursday. I missed you guys Friday. I missed you again. I've been in transit. But I showed you that Thursday because he went up to Albany to really kind of fling it in the face of Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, and he's just munching on an apple as the protesters are screaming at him. And, because he's like, I don't give a damn. I just don't care. I am here to do one job, and that is to make America safe again. So this is amazing. The other thing that's amazing is that the judge knew to write this. Think about that. The judge actually knew to write this. How did he know? Tom Homan has a theory on that too, and he thinks it's another leak, which is super interesting, and I would not be surprised, and this is part of the problem that they're trying to confront. Here's Tom Homan explaining how it is that the judge was able to get this order out so fast.
So, Tom, I look at this judge. The flights were already in the air, in international waters. How did the judge get involved? Did these immigrants that were in the country illegally, did their lawyers get involved and make a petition to the judge? How did this happen? How did the judge know about the flights being in the air?
Again, information was leaked somehow. I don't quite know how it got leaked, but there was a court emergency court hearing on five people that were on schedule to be deported. The judge had a written order that said these 5 people can't be removed right now. It wasn't until this flight was already in international waters, heading down to El Salvador, that the judge made some comment about returning the flights. We're already in international waters. We're outside the borders of the United States. On the borders are. Once you're outside the border, it is what it is. But they're in international waters, already on the way south, close to landing. You know what? We did what we had to do. Remove terrorists, significant public safety threats from the United States. By the order, the proclamation by the President of the United States, we did the right thing.
Tom, you say that it was 5 that were on there where this emergency hearing was coming. So why is the judge asking for the entire flight to be returned?
Your guess is good as mine, Lawrence. You got some radical judge who makes a decision.
This can't happen.
That just defies logic. I mean, who in the right mind, whether you're a judge or not, wants known public... TVA, a recognized terrorist organization, sent here by the Maduro regime to create havoc, to unsettle the United States through the use of fentanyl to kill thousands of Americans, violence to American citizens, raping and murdering young women in this country. They are enemies of this country, and President Trump treated them as enemies, and we did exactly what we should have done. Again, President Trump is going to make this country safe again. He's going to do it one illegal alien at a time. And this weekend, we did 261.
So, Tom.
Okay, so 261. I should change the 238, right? 261, according to Tom Homan. Detainees went to El Salvador. And that's, I don't know how you get him back, right? And to his point, once you're in international water, things kind of change. This is a problem, you see, for the Democrats, because they're kind of on their hind legs. I don't know how you respond as a Democrat to this and sit there and, to his point, and say, well, we're going to defend these, I get it. You can be into the legal principle, this, that, and the other, and maybe, you can argue the case, well, we shouldn't be using the Aliens Enemies Act of 1798, and you can go down that path. But, that's a politically treacherous path to go down, because I don't think you're going to find a lot of support from everyday Americans who are like, listen, I just want my neighborhood safe. And if you've got known criminals that have done some really heinous things and they're coming and they're infiltrating here, well, we don't really want them, right? Like this is kind of common sense. And so once again, the Democrats are on their heels and they don't know how to respond. This was amazing to me. So MSNBC sort of predictably is always on the wrong side of everything, like everything, all the time. And so in this particular segment from last night, as they were dealing with this issue, you have one of the hosts saying, oh, well, what are you going to do? How can you prevent Venezuelans from being put into internment? She's going on about internment camps and this, that, and the other, because, of course, this is where they go. And Joaquin Jeffries, he doesn't really seem to know what to say. Even Whoopi Goldberg came out and said she's not for keeping criminals in the United States. Anyway, here's Joaquin trying to deal with this as MSNBC continues to spin its nutty narrative.
Peter Jeffries, President Trump just invoked the Alien Enemies Act to target Venezuelan nationals. We haven't seen this law be used to target a single ethnicity since the Japanese internment. What are you going to do to prevent the next Japanese internment and protect Venezuelans who call this country home?
Listen, we have a broken immigration system. We've got to fix it. We've got to fix it in a comprehensive and bipartisan way. And all of us within the Democratic Party, we oppose illegal immigration. We believe that if you're a violent felon, you should be deported. But we also can't go down this road that the Trump administration is taking us on and potentially deport American citizens, deport legal and lawful permanent residents, and break up law-abiding immigrant families who are contributing to this country. This particular law has only been invoked 3 different times in our nation's almost 250-year history. The War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. There's a reason why it's been limited in its application. Those circumstances do not appear to exist right now. And that's the reason why a court has halted the Trump administration's actions. And we're going to stand strongly in support of the rule of law and its application, which the Trump administration appears to be violating in this particular instance.
So you get what I mean, though. This is a little bit tricky for them. Because if they come out against Trump, they're effectively for the gang members. And this is just like not a good position. Okay, just not a good spirit felt. Thank you again. You know, he's joking around about the prisons, right? That they're going to get in El Salvador versus what they would do here. The Democrats would be feeding them steak only, somehow rewarding the prisoners. I mean, it feels like that, spirit filled. It's just been a crazy, crazy sort of time. Quick reminder: I meant to put this up earlier for you guys. If you're interested in investing, and by the way, I believe you should be. Everybody needs to be invested, even when it's rocky, even when things are kind of, that's actually, for me anyway, a buying opportunity. March 2020 was one of the greatest. Go to 76research.com, use code word dollar, and it's just $1 a month for the first 2 months. It goes to $9.95, but you can cancel anytime. In fact, you don't even have to be at $1.